Hey everybody, Happy New Year! Andrew Abersold with Mediaura here, and today I want to talk to you about Web 3.0 or Web 3 or the third iteration of the internet. For those of you that have heard a little bit about this video might be good to kind of give you a kind of an overview of what that is, and for those of you that have not heard of it, maybe you'll get something out of it too. But let's take you back in history a little bit before we jump into what exactly is Web3, and we'll explain kind of the evolution of the internet. Personally, I have a little bit of a unique perspective or view on this because I was online before really the internet as we know it, and this started in the late 80s with the BBS or bulletin board systems, where you would literally call somebody else's house and their computer, and sometimes you had multiple phone lines and there were more than one person on at a time. We really take for granted now that there can be millions and millions of people on Facebook at once. 2 or 3 people at once was a huge benefit back then. But then the internet kind of, as we know it, launched in the mid-90s. You started to see providers like AOL that offered solutions, and if you weren't necessarily on an AOL provider, the internet was very static, right? You could chat on AOL and you could send emails with or without a solution like that. But if you went to a website, it was like a brochure, right? It didn't really have a lot going on, and websites were just all over the place in terms of quality. There weren't really any standards. Everybody was competing to see what browser is going to be the best one, what standard will the best browser have, and it was literally a mess, right? And everybody was racing to see who's going to make the money, selling ads on this new website, or who's going to buy this domain name, and I'm going to make money because I own a domain name. So that's really the first true evolution of the internet. Version 2 or Web 2.0 happened right around the 2000 era and started to kind of evolve from there. And that's where you started to see cleanliness in terms of search. So Google was a big pioneer of having a clean search engine that helped catalog and organize the internet so that you could find things a lot quicker. Social media platforms like Facebook started to evolve years after that, where you could do more on the internet. You started to have more interactive websites, blogs, discussion boards, things like that started to play a bigger role. We saw the rise and fall of technologies like Flash and the introduction of HTML5, which kind of streamlined the internet a little bit more and basically continued to clean things up. But as that happened, you started to see the internet basically ended up having a few major players, right? You have Facebook or Meta, which has Instagram and WhatsApp under their umbrella, really start to gobble up a big share of the market. And you saw Google kind of do the same thing with their properties, YouTube and Gmail and different things. And everybody started to notice what used to be this really fragmented, scattered internet start to end up in the hands of maybe 5, 10, 20 major players that kind of owned and controlled everything. And the Web3 kind of movement, there's some skeptics out there. There are people saying it's vaporware, it's never going to happen. Some people are, thinking it's going to change everything. And then there's people in the middle that say, oh, it's going to end up being a little bit of a in-between what both of these groups are saying. But basically, it's based on blockchain or the evolution of blockchain and the concept of decentralizing information. So one of the advantages I'm hopeful for and optimistic about would be that maybe instead of having a bazillion logins on every different website and having to create an account if you want to check out from an e-commerce store that's not Amazon, right? How inconvenient is that to create another account, put your email in, 2-factor authentication, put your credit card in somewhere else. You might end up having one account. It's your anonymous, for all intents and purposes, crypto account. Maybe it's using Ethereum as kind of the fundamental layer or currency to make all of that happen. And you don't have to log into every other website. You can post something on Twitter from your crypto account that's you, and you don't have to worry maybe as much about it being hacked, and you don't have to create a new account for every site you go to, and you can log into the Facebook with the same credentials, right? So there's some stuff happening with blockchain as maybe the underlying piece of that. And really, I think the big intent here is that we want to break up the internet a little bit more and make it decentralized so that no one person controls all the pieces, and that the consumers maybe have a little bit more freedom and privacy as a result of that. Where that's going to end up, Nobody really knows, but I think it's safe to say that blockchain concept and implementation is here to stay. It's continuing to evolve, and while there are a bazillion cryptocurrencies, sorry to use the same word twice in one interview, but there's a lot of choices. It does look like Ethereum may be the one that powers this or kind of becomes the common currency, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But it's not something that is here today, gone tomorrow. Crypto on top of blockchain is here to stay, and blockchain as a fundamental way of building things and sharing information is also here to stay. So I encourage you to look into it more. That's something we're really focused on here at Mediaura in 2022. We're building a non-fungible token platform for a client. We are also, we've already implemented several cryptocurrency exchanges, and that's something that we're continuing to explore for other industries as well. So Happy New Year. Hopefully this has been informative. And if you need any help understanding this stuff, or you have a great idea where you want to get in front of this, give us a call, because that's what we're known for. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.